Our government is separated in several ways. We have separation of powers between the state and the federal government. We have separation of powers among the three branches of government. And then we have a division between two core concepts. One is the notion of democracy itself, which is majority rules. But the second part of it is freedom, and freedom and democracy are not the same thing. Freedom is a limit on what government can do. It's a limit on what the democratic process allows.
So I have to say, let's go to the Supreme Court!
The ACLU defends the freedom side of the equation. We fight to defend and enhance and further the meaning and the influence of the Bill of Rights.
Early in the ACLU, Kentucky's tenure, it started around the Ann and Carl Brayton trial. So through the 50s and 60s and 70s with school desegregation, racial issues were at the forefront of what needed to be addressed. We are trying to find cases that really are going to impact a broad group of people and set a precedent for protecting those rights long term. We have attorneys that will partner with us around an issue they care about and really take on a lot of the heavy-duty part of the work, and it's all overseen by our staff attorney.
When you're an ACLU cooperating attorney, I think it compels you to do your best work possible because of the individual that you represent and also the legacy of the ACLU.
The moment I heard what the photograph was, I thought, I'm fired. They wanted me to resign, and I said no. If I had lied, I would resign. But since I didn't lie, you're gonna have to fire me. They were very clear always that it wasn't that I did something wrong or that I was bad. To me, it's like they had blinders on it because it's like, oh, you don't want a well-adjusted, caring, kind person to help these children. All you see is a lesbian. The ACLU contacted me first, and I thought, oh wow, the ACLU wants to represent me? Well, let's talk.
There were two general ways that the ACLU would get involved in a case. One is if someone came to us with a particular request and a particular issue. The second way that cases come to the ACLU is that we will sometimes affirmatively look for the right client, the right case, the right time to bring a lawsuit.
I've always been a fighter, so when the ACLU jumped in, I was like, oh, you know, I have something to go to bat with. You don't realize when something is going to be so big. It was my name, but it was no longer about me. And it was about a principle, about what's right, what's wrong. This case has taken 14 years. It was finally ruled that as a religious organization, they had an exemption and that they had the right to hire and fire the people that they wanted. It's like, okay, well, you're a religious organization, but we're supposed to have a separation of church and state. And your majority of your funding, regardless of what you say, comes from the state. And I and 4 other people decided to come together as citizens and sue the state and KBHC and challenge their ability to do that.
It's always that personal story that makes a difference. When people know someone that they care about is affected by an issue, then they're more likely to understand having these laws, having these policies that are protecting people.
Afterwards, people would come up to me and they'd tell me, because of you, I'm gonna do this, because of your story, because you're brave, because you're brave, because you're brave. I kept hearing that over and over, and I said, I don't care if I lose, it doesn't matter at that point. I realized that what I had put out there had inspired other people to be brave.
You know, this is a way for me to give back. This is a way for me to protect the legacy of a Thurgood Marshall or a Robert Carter.
The ACLU is the most frequent litigant at the U.S. Supreme Court, except for the United States. Even though there are some justices who almost never agree with ACLU's position, I think there is not a single justice of the Supreme Court in the last 30 years who hasn't had enormous respect for the ACLU, the quality of its work, and the thoughtfulness of the positions it takes.
They gave us that platform. They gave us the field to fight on. We wouldn't have been able to do it without people who dedicate their lives to helping the little guy, helping the underdog.
Our democracy is more vibrant and individual rights are more fully protected and better understood because of the ACLU or organizations like it. You've got to have someone who fights back against the excesses of the majority.